evening, everybody, and welcome to the PhD Virtual Tour 2020 Management Session, organized by Campus France India and French Institute in India, which is part of the French Embassy Network in India. It is great to be speaking to you all today. Well, PhD in Management, it is the highest academic degree awarded in the study of management sciences, and specific to the research topics with potential relevance to the business world. So we are going to talk about this topic in the next hour. I'm your moderator for today's session. My name is Sujit Nair from Campus France. And I would like to invite and introduce you to the panelists today. We have with us Dr. Olivier Bruno, who is the Professor of Economic Sciences from Université Côte. Dr. Bruno, you're most welcome to our session today. We also have Dr. Sandra Laporte, who is the Professor of Marketing from Toulouse School of Management Research. We have Dr. Cécile Ayerbe with us, who is Professor of Management Sciences, again from Université Côte. We have Ms. Britta Delhay, who is Program and Development Manager of HEC Paris PhD program. And we have Ms. Amrita Dattar from the French Institute in India. We also have our proud alumni, Mr. Debtanu Lahiri, who is currently pursuing his PhD at HEC Paris. So the panelists, you're most welcome today. And we can start the session today with a word from Ms. Amrita Dattar, who would be introducing today's thematic to you. Amrita?
Thank you so much, Sujit. So I'm Amrita.
You are on mute.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sujit. I'm Amrita Dattar and I work at the French Institute in India. So I'm just going to give you a brief idea about PhD in management as a topic and what would be the differences of pursuing this program in India as well as in France. So like all of you know, a PhD degree can be obtained in many areas of study, while a PhD specifically in management is the study of research questions with potential relevance in the business world. So a PhD can be in management, can be specialized, and you can pursue these programs in accounting, economics, entrepreneurship, finance, healthcare management, leadership, marketing, organizational behavior, statistics, strategy, and many, many more. To let you know, last year, India spent an approximate of 1,23,000 crores for research and development, which accounts to about 0.7% of our GDP. Management is a very popular field in India. Many students pursue a management degree, that is either a master's or an MBA at the post-graduation level. To pursue a PhD in management in India, you would need to have a master's or an MBA, followed by a few years of work experience, plus the student should have cleared the NET exam, that is the National Eligibility Test. You could also pursue a PhD without having to appear for the NET test, but in that case, you have to make sure that you qualify for the written as well as the interviews in your respective choice of universities or institutes. The duration of a PhD in management in India is generally for about 4 to 5 years, and each institute have their own funding possibilities. In France, the French government generally spends 49.5 billion euros each year for R&D, which accounts to about 2.27% of their GDP. They have 431,000 people involved in research. So these people include professors, researchers, engineers, technicians, as well as support staff. And their work is published in the best known international scientific journals, and they have the 4th highest index of impact in the world. 41% of those enrolled in doctoral programs in France are foreigners, and 54% of French scientific publications are the result of international collaborations. Now, to let you know, Indian students are generally worried about the language of instruction. So there are more than 1,500 programs taught in English in France, right from the bachelor's level, master's level. So the students have the complete freedom to choose English as their preferred language for their dissertation. In France, you can apply for a PhD generally after a master's or after having an MBA degree or after a few years of work experience. So many students prefer having about 8 to 10 years or more, a couple of more years of work experience before applying for the PhD program. You can do this in two ways. How would you apply for a PhD? So you need to look out for a thesis supervisor. So in that case, you can contact the thesis supervisor directly by sending your CV, your SOP, and your research project. Or you can also look at PhD offers which are updated on the Campus France online portal. When you are doing your doctoral studies in France, you are not treated as a student because you have a work contract. So that means you are on a contrat doctoral, which enables you to get up to 1,400 euros as monthly stipend. So 1,400 is the maximum. You can get anywhere from 1,000, 1,200 to 1,400 euros. Indian students who are looking at doing a PhD in management can also apply for the Eiffel Scholarship Program for the PhD candidates. This Eiffel Scholarship Program is generally eligible for those candidates who are doing their PhD via co-tutel or like a joint PhD program wherein they have a thesis supervisor in France as well. Now I would allow all the panelists and the alumni to share their experience and give you details about the programs and the application procedure for PhD in management. Thank you. Sujit, you are muted.
Thank you, Amrita, for sharing that detailed information with us and sharing interesting facts about management as a domain. Now I would like to invite Dr. Sandra Laporte to present Toulouse School of Management and the doctoral programs that are available at the Institute. Dr. Laporte. Dr. Laporte, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I am, but it seems that my connection is very bad. So you have to tell me or during the chat, maybe if it is still understandable.
Well, we are able to hear you right now, so it seems okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Laporte, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm going to try to share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so I'm here to talk briefly about TSM doctoral program. So a brief overview of our school, the TSM, Toulouse School of Management. We are a public university in France, and our positioning is really like on research. It's a research intensive school. So that's why the PhD program is actually one of our flagship program. So this is a few general facts. See that we also have like international partnerships with universities such as Lancaster, WHU in Germany. And so I will tell a few more words about Toulouse later, but Toulouse is one of the biggest cities in France. It's especially well known for the aerospace industry. The Airbus headquarters are actually situated in Toulouse. It's also a southern city with a very good climate. So just a few facts, key figures about TSM. We have, and about TSM doctoral program, we have more than 20,000 alumni worldwide. The campus is really situated in downtown Toulouse. So we are very lucky to have a beautiful downtown campus. It's quite a multicultural student population. Almost 80 nationalities are represented. You can see a bit more about our program. We have 30 masters and several partner universities. In terms of the faculty, we have 64 core faculty from 6 different nationalities. Most of them have PhD themselves. And we published I am actually like the co-head of our lab, of our research lab. And we are very proud to have to publish in the best ranked journal every year. So if I zoom in now on the doctoral program, one first interesting feature of our program is that we are actually harnessing the research capabilities and especially the research expertise from the professors from 3 different labs in Toulouse. So of course our own lab, TSM Research, which I am co-directing, but also like the labs of 2 other schools, management schools in Toulouse, Université Paul Sabatier and Toulouse Business School. I would like to underline that actually TSM Research is one of the only 3 CNRS accredited laboratories in France. CNRS is the French public agency for research, and there are only 3 labs in management that are accredited by CNRS. TSM is one of them. So this is a map of how our students are distributed, spread around the world. The PhD students are very international. We have 90 students total, and the average age, maybe something that is interesting to you, just to give you an idea of at what point in their career they are. Like the average age is 32 for now. The TSM doctoral program, again, a few facts, I think very important for us. It's of course 100% taught in English. We are very happy that all our PhD students are actually like employed after the PhD, most of them in the academia, since it's really like the positioning of the program. We are training like future academics to be researchers and professors in business schools and universities, and we have more than 300 alumni worldwide. And so we have a specific partnership with LUMS and WHO, as I noted before. And so yes, again, a great emphasis on research. So maybe a quick overview of the structure of the program. I think what can be interesting for you is that the 2 first years of the program are dedicated to courses. We have courses about the core methodology and the core topics in each track, in each specializations over the 2 first years. Before this and after that, in years 3, 4, and 5, students are dedicated entirely to the writing of their dissertation. So yeah, I think it will become so maybe something that is a bit standard. We have 5 tracks. No surprise here, accounting, auditing, and management control, finance, human resources management and organizational behavior, marketing. I am actually a full professor in marketing. This is my specialization. And of course, last but not least, strategy and international management. So we are offering like core courses that are transversal to all these specializations, but also specialization courses in each of these tracks. Maybe a few words about the very general profile that we are interested in and that we expect from applicants. So of course, to be a PhD student, we expect an excellent academic track record. So an important part of your application is going to be your previous achievements in your bachelor studies and then master studies. A good proficiency in English, obviously. And we also ask already for a research project. You shouldn't expect this research project. Of course, it's going to evolve while you are going to take the classes and learn more about research in management. But it is already a good way for us to see if you're curious, if you have already like a good idea of what is research, and if you have like a big topic that you're really interested in, so we can see if there is a fit with our team. Of course, I encourage you, if you're interested in Toulouse, in our program, I mean, to visit our websites. We developed some videos that give tips on how to apply and what we are expecting in our candidates. So please visit our YouTube channel to have a better idea of what is expected. And so the first application round is going to be open very soon. Usually it's at the end of October. And there is a second round in the late winter. So we have 2 rounds of applications. Of course, we can give positive answers after the first round, meaning that if you're sure that you want to apply and you want to come to Toulouse, that's the earlier the application, the better. Since you could, if your application is very good, you can secure a place with us. Like quick facts about the fees, the tuition fees. I would like to emphasize, so here in this table, you can see like the actual costs of the tuition in our PhD program. But again, we are a public university where, and we are deeply committed to research. And so we believe that we need to finance PhD studies. So you can see the actual cost of the tuition after the waiver, after the fee waiver applies. So the actual amount you should consider is here. I would like to underline also that the first year there is no default scholarship for the first year. It is very competitive since at the end of the first year, based on the grades and the theses, we will actually award some scholarships to the students that will go on with the rest of the PhD. So you see that we are offering scholarships beginning in year 2, and every students that are pursuing their doctoral studies from year 2 are financed by our school with this amount. Yes, so this is about the placements. So you see, of course, I mean, a lot of placement in Europe and in France, but not only, also in Asia, America, and Australia. I won't go into specifics, but you can see that you have all the information on the website. I see that I'm running out of time, so I will let you with a few information about Toulouse, which is a beautiful southern city in the south of France. There is a bright blue sky right now, and so yeah, I encourage you also to get more information about Toulouse, who is a very attractive city in France. I'm going to stop here since I spoke for 10 minutes. I hope you were able to listen to me, and I will try to answer also the questions in the chat. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Laporte, for sharing that crisp yet very precise information about doctoral programs offered at TSM. And we would move on to Dr. Olivier Bruno from Université Côte d'Azur. Dr. Bruno, I would like to invite you to share your presentation to the audience.
Okay, thank you, Sajid. So,
thank you.
Is everybody can see the presentation? Okay. So my name is Olivier Bruno. I am a full professor of economics at the Université Côte d'Azur. And I am also the dean of the doctoral school in law, political science, economics, and management. And I will give this presentation with my colleague, Cécile Ayerbe, who is vice dean of the Research Center in Law, Economics and Management, the GRIDEG Research Center, but also the supervisor of the Master Research in Management and Innovation, that is a joint master research with Schema Business School. So first of all, I will give a brief overview of the Université Côte d'Azur. So Université Côte d'Azur is a new university that was created the 1st January of this year, but in fact it comes from the merger of 17 major academic establishments. The most important was University of Nice-Sophia Antipolis. This is an old university in France, but it also includes the National Research Center, CNRS, but also Schema Business School. This is a French business school that is multi-accredited by EQUIS and ACSB, so FMD accreditation. I want also to note that Université Côte d'Azur won the prestigious Initiative d'Excellence label in 2016, and this distinction positioned our university among the 10 best French research-intensive universities. So from the point of view of research, Université Côte d'Azur is a multidisciplinary university. You can have research in math, in physics, biology, but also in economics and management. There are more than 4,000 people, researchers and teachers that are involved in research. We have more than 35,000 students from the undergraduate level to the PhD level from all the discipline. And we are also an international university with multi-agreement with other European university, but also international university. A few words about the Doctoral School of Law, Political Science, Economics and Management. This is one of the 6 doctoral schools of Université Côte d'Azur. It was created in order to develop synergy between these 4 disciplines in order to allow the students to share their methodology and to work together on common topics. So you can have, or you can make a PhD in management of innovation, but you should have some relationship with some PhD student in economics that works also on innovation, or with students in law that work in that subject. This doctoral school is supported by 6 research centers, with 3 research centers that are more focused in management. the GRIDEG Research Center, the research center in law, economics in management, that is co-accredited by the Université Côte d'Azur and the French Research Center, the CNRS. The INSTAR Research Center, this is the research center of Schema Business School, and the GRM, this is the group of research in management of the Université Côte d'Azur. So what to do if you want to apply for a PhD in Université Côte d'Azur? So you must have a master degree, in French master degree, or in its international equivalent. You have to have a research project, but also you have to secure an agreement with a thesis advisor, and you can find all the information about the professor that are able to work with you on the website of the university and of our research center. Not that also PhD student and international PhD student are supported by the Center for Doctoral School, the MED, that gives support and specific information for international students. Last point that I want to discuss with you is how to finance your PhD. We have several sources of possible financing. We have grant from the French Ministry of Higher Education. The application for this scholarship are by the end of June, and I will send you after this presentation all the link to the website, but this, you have the full information of the website of our doctoral school. You have also some specific scholarship of industrial agreement and research training. This is a scholarship that is a mixed financing by the university, the French ministry, and firms. But what it should be maybe a good thing for you, you have also edX research granted that you can find several calls for application during all the academic years, and you can find this call for application on the UCA website. And also you can have scholarship for your government. So I have finished this general presentation of the doctoral school in management of the University Côte d'Azur, and I will give the floor to my colleague, Cécile Ayerbe, who is the supervisor of our joint MSc with Schema Business School. So, Cécile.
Thank you, Olivier. Thank you for this opportunity to present this master research. So, as it has been mentioned, my name is Cécile Ayerbe, and I'm professor in management at Université Côte d'Azur. And it has just been mentioned by Olivier, I am MSc Research in Management. So first of all, I will give you some few words about the objectives. So please, Olivier, if you could move to the second slide. Olivier, could you? Oh, yes, thank you very much. So first of all, regarding the objective of the master, it is clearly a research-oriented master. So really our objective is to give the student a solid foundation to pursue doctoral studies in management and hopefully career in research and teaching activities. Can become
Dr. Ayerbe, I think we are not able to hear you quite well.
prepare you to go on with the PhD later this M2 level. So institutional context, my colleague
Cécile, we cannot hear you.
So
sorry for
regarding the institutional
this technical problem.
Sorry, is it okay, Olivier?
We are not able to hear you. Dr. Bruno,
Sorry, is it okay?
would you...
Cécile, you can continue maybe. Yes, we can hear you now.
Could you hear me?
Yes.
It's better.
Could you go back to the previous slide? Olivier?
Mm-hmm.
Could you move to the previous slide? Yes.
Maybe we have to stop because it's, I don't know if we cannot hear you, Cécile. We cannot hear you. So just sorry that maybe if you hear me, is it
hear me now? Sorry.
I suggest that we proceed with the session and perhaps
yes, okay.
We can come back after.
We can send you, yes, we can send you all the slideshow if you need some more information, but just to have in mind that this is a joint master with Schema Business School. This is a multi-accredited school, and it's open to it's opened the way to our PhD program, and just you will find also the email address of one of the PhD student of the MSc. This is an India student that was financed this year by the doctoral school in order to
you hear me now?
pursue his doctoral program. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Bruno, and thank you, Dr. Ayerbe, for such
sorry, I don't know what happened.
There was a technical glitch, it seems, but thank you so much for sharing information on the doctoral programs offered by UCA. Moving on to Ms. Britta Delhay from HEC Paris. Ms. Delhay, I would request you to share your presentation with us.
No, I will just give some information, and I would afterwards refer on the chat to the HEC.
Sure.
Website.
So the parole is yours, Ms. Delhay.
So my name is Britta Delhay, and I'm very honored to be here today. I'm not a professor, and Professor De Valk, who is the director of the PhD program, is very sorry she couldn't be here because today is our first day of the new batch of the PhD program. So they are having a long day today, receiving a lot of information of the program and what to do and administrative things and so on. But I'm here and I will give you some information on HEC and on the PhD program. And then Debtanu, I'm very happy that Debtanu is here and he will be able to take over and to share his experience that he lives with us here at HEC Paris. So HEC Paris is not a public university. It's a very, very old business school created in 1881. One of the oldest in France. So this also means that we are not a university with many different departments, but a business school dedicated to research and teaching in management science. At HEC, we have we teach, we would say we deliver education from master level, pre-experienced master level, through the MIM, Grande École, the MSc programs, post-experience, MBA, executive education, and last but not least, our PhD program, which is also considered as one of the flagship programs. The PhD program has been created in 1975 as a, I would say, 100% French program. Today, some years later, we have 100% English taught PhD program. And we are very happy every year to welcome, I would say, most international students in our program. The PhD program is a very, very small program. We are in total today, we are 95 students in the program, and we had a new intake today of nine students that would start in one of the 7 specializations that we offer. Although it's a PhD in management, of course, as the colleague said, you will specialize in one of the fields, and we have 7 fields. The first one is accounting and management control, economics and decision sciences, finance, management and human resources, marketing, information systems and operations management, and strategy and business policy. Those students, when they start at HEC, they integrate the program, and they spend 5 years here on campus. The 2 first courses are dedicated to, the 2 first years, sorry, are dedicated to courses and to foundation in management and in research. This is also the 2 years that you spend about thinking of your subject, because at HEC you don't apply for a subject. You define your subject together with your tutor and future research director. Those 2 first years are since this summer been accredited by the French government as a Master of Research in Management Science. So this means that now the 5-year studies is composed of a phase of Master of Research and a phase of PhD. It's a global program. When you start at HEC, even in first year, you are in the PhD program. But we thought it would be better also to split and also to better adapt to the European education system, to have a 2+3. The PhD at HEC, although we are considered as a private school, we do deliver an official recognized PhD. Since last summer, sorry, we have joined the IPP doctoral school, which is Institut Polytechnique de Paris, which is 5 schools who got together to create this doctoral school. So before that, we were in another doctoral school, and this is also how most of the private business schools that offer PhD in France, they work. They are always integrated within a doctoral school to be able also to deliver the national degree. Now, this year, as I said, we have 59 students in the program, and in fact, I just checked, we have already 7 Indian students in the program. In economics and decision sciences, in finance, in information systems, and in strategy. So we are very, very honored and to have so much interest from Indians and Indian students to come to HEC to do their PhD. In the program, we have 79%, almost 80% of international students and 46% women. And we are very happy of that, because it's, I think the colleagues agree, Most of us dream of getting up to 50% women in the program, so we are almost there. How do you get into the program? First of all, you need either a very, very excellent bachelor degree or a good master, or also an excellent master, of course, but you can apply with a bachelor degree. We offer one intake per year in September, but we have 2 admission sessions. The program is open to students holding a master, engineer, or a very good bachelor degree from any field. So in fact, we don't care what you have studied, but you must have well, excellent interest in research, of course. You must have, in your application, you must be able to explain why you want to go for research, why you want to go from the knowledge consumer to the knowledge producer, and specifically in management. Of course, you apply for one of the 7 specializations, but as I said, you don't have to have a specific subject. You have, as I think it was Sandra who said that your interest must come clearly from your personal statement. So professors can see if they can find a kind of fit with your interests and vice versa. It's very important, otherwise it would be very difficult to have students here if we don't have professors that can follow them through their journey. It's 5 years, so it's quite long, and it's a real collaboration, and that very often ends also in co-authoring, and we can see that more and more that PhD students, they graduate, they go and work, and then they continue to publish with professors of HEC or together. To apply, you need to fill out an online application. You need to take the GMAT or the GRE. You need to take a language test, unless I know in India you have 4 or 5 years studies in English, and in that case we will exempt you from the language test. Or I think that's maybe not 100%, but a huge part of education in India is in English, so you will not have to worry about that. The GMAT is very important though. Because of the COVID this year, we accepted the online test and we accepted late results and so on. And I guess that for those of you, if you are interested, who wants to apply in the January session, it will be a little the same. We see what happens, and we discuss together about this test. Of course, you need to add all your supporting documents, and if you have done some research, if you have written some articles, maybe an interesting subject of your master thesis and so on. You need a personal statement, of course, because this is where you can explain exactly why you want to apply for a PhD. You need also 2 recommendations from professors that are online, and it's very important. In fact, we read them, and we really examine, and we talk about. We don't necessarily call the professors only if needed, but it's important for us to see that that professors also are okay to recommend you for your future career in research.
Thank you, Ms. Delhay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing such insightful information, and I'm sure the aspiring students would have gotten really a good clarity about how to apply and what documents they need to prepare beforehand. Moving with the session, I would like to invite our proud alumni, Mr. Lahiri, who is currently pursuing his PhD at HEC Paris. He is pursuing his PhD in strategy and business policy. Mr. Lahiri, you're most welcome to our session. Would you like to say a few words about your overall experience as a PhD student in France?
Yeah. So can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear, Mr. Lahiri.
Okay. So yeah, I started my PhD back in 2017, and now I just entered my fourth year, maybe a couple of weeks back. So I'm officially in my fourth year now, and this is the last, more or less the last year of my PhD. And because in the fifth year you get into the job market, and then the fifth year is consumed in the job market and in defending your dissertation, etc. So my experience so far has been rather excellent. I mean, one of the concerns that Indian students have about France generally is, and I get asked this question a lot, like, what about French? Do you need to know French? No, you don't need to know any French. In fact, even now I know very rudimentary French, and I'm doing fine without it. In the academic setup, you don't need French at all, and even outside Paris, everyone speaks good enough English to respond to your queries. And overall, there was one point made, I think, in the introduction. I think I'd like to just correct a little bit there. There was something was said like the scholarship is to a maximum limit of 1,450 euros per month, which is certainly not the case, because we receive much more than that. And there are B schools. There is another B school in Paris which pays even more higher than that, I know, as a matter of fact. So I don't think 1,450 is an accurate description. And another thing to understand is that over and above the scholarship that you receive, firstly, you receive a scholarship. I think it is now around 23,000 euros per year. And you usually don't pay any tax on that. So living cost shouldn't be an issue. And over and above the scholarship, if you want to work, you are allowed to work for 450 hours per year. And depending on what work you do, you get paid per hour. If you're working just as a grading assistant, you get like around 18 euros per hour. What I'm saying is, so funding should not be an issue, at least in HEC and schools like NCR or ESSEC. I'm not able to talk about all French-based schools, but the top ones that people really look forward to don't really have funding issues. And overall, from the point of view of social security, etc., you are given a social security insurance cover that is completely free of cost. Then in Paris, you get a CAF, which is an extra support that the government gives you per month, which is over and above the scholarship and everything that you make, which is around 150 euro per month. So that way, France, I think, is way better placed than countries like US, where the support from the government is rather minimum. So yeah, so that's about it. I mean, if you have specific questions, I can take those questions. And a lot of there are a lot of questions on the GRE score and how much GMAT score is required. In a sense, just to clarify, I mean, so you need very excellent GMAT. I mean, if you, I didn't take the GMAT. Sorry, I didn't take the GRE. I took the GMAT. So, and most people take GMAT. So I highly recommend taking the GMAT. And you need a minimum GMAT of 700 if you are looking to out of 800, and to be on the safe side, 720 is what is recommended. So yes, it is very competitive, but it's I mean, if you look at the top schools, they're among the top 10 in the world. So yeah, it's that way it should be competitive. So, and IELTS or TOEFL is generally not required for Indian students, because we have because it is well known that the education system in India is largely English. So yeah, and there was another thing said about in the introduction that I'd like to correct is, you don't contact your advisor before applying. So ideally, what is good is you go through the publications or the CVs of the professors of the department to understand what kind of work is done in the department. what are the research areas, and then you contact the students to understand exactly how the department is, who the person is working with, and how is the atmosphere, etc. So you can get in touch with professors, but that is certainly not a requirement, and it might be more recommended if you first get in touch with some student, because student profiles are also there on the website. First, you get in touch with the student to understand a little better, and then if you're really very interested, you should get in touch with the professors. But that is not really required. So beyond that, I have really nothing more to add. If there are specific questions, I can address them. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lahiri, for giving us a very crisp and good piece of advice to the aspiring students. I'm sure this would be very useful to them. We will quickly take up questions from the chat box, and we'll try to answer them. I think Mr. Lahiri and our other panelists have already answered a few of the questions while they were presenting. Just would like to take up the questions now. Yeah, I mean, to start with, there's a question about can a fresher apply for a PhD right after his or her master's? So maybe I can, I can ask this question to Dr. Laporte, if she would like to answer this question.
So can you ask the question again?
Sure. So the question is, are freshers, fresher students, like right after their masters, can they apply for a PhD, or do they have to have a certain significant amount of work experience?
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to be sure that I understood the fresher meaning. So that's what I understood. No, I think I wrote it at one point in the chat, but no, professional experience is not a requirement to apply in our PhD program. I'm not going to speak for the other programs, but I mean, a lot of our PhD students, myself, when I did my PhD at HEC Paris, actually, I went straight from my master degree to the PhD program. So no, a fresher can apply. It's completely possible.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dr. Laporte. The next question that we have is, is there an application fee to apply to a PhD program, or can one get a waiver on that one? Dr. Bruno, if you would like to answer this question.
So I think it's depend of the PhD program. From the public university, the fees are about, I think, 400 euro by year. So it's about 400 euro by year from the first year to the last year of the PhD program.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Bruno. There's a very interesting question here. There's a student asking about, do the schools give any preference to people who have published research articles on journals over those candidates who do not have such research articles published? So I think any one of you can answer this question, Dr. Laporte or Dr. Bruno or Ms. Delhay.
Yeah, I think I wrote it at one point. Yeah. Thank you, merci. Yeah, I think I wrote a bit in the chat. Obviously, everything that you can put in your application that show that maybe you already did research is going to be a plus. But I think, yeah, it's really not mandatory, because since we also we receive applications from freshers, as you said before. I mean, we're also aware that the PhD is going to be the opportunity to get trained for research. So a publication is one element, but it's not mandatory. And I strongly encourage you to apply, even if you don't have a publication yet. That's why you apply to a PhD program. That's to learn how to publish. So,
right. Thank you, Dr. Laporte. Dr. Bruno, would you like to add something on this?
No, this is the good response, because when you apply to a PhD, you are supposed to learn how to write a paper and how to become a researcher. So it's a plus, but it is no mandatory also at the Université Côte d'Azur.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Bruno.
At HEC it's the same thing. HEC
yes,
is the same thing,
Delhay.
yeah.
My next question is to Ms. Delhay. Can 1 year long master degrees can be considered an sort of eligibility to apply to PhD programs at HEC?
A bachelor degree plus 1 year master's?
1 year master's, yes.
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Delhay. And moving on. So there's a general question any of you can take up. What are the work opportunities after completing a PhD program? Just to add on to it, I would say that usually, PhD programs are considered very academic friendly, and generally the candidates would like to shape a career in academics. But what other opportunities are open? Are there any opportunities open in the industry after pursuing a PhD in management? Dr. Laporte, would you like to add to this?
No, I think you already said the crux of it. Of course, the whole training is directed to train future researcher professors. But of course, we have examples of people finding jobs in the industry. It's of course a possibility. In some tracks, you can also imagine to find jobs in public institutions. Or if I should talk about marketing, for example, yes, we can imagine that some PhD students then orient themselves to consulting companies, these kind of jobs. But so, yes, it's of course possible to find some jobs in industry, even if our programs tend to not be geared towards this kind of jobs. I think it should be pretty clear at the beginning when you start the program that you are going to be trained first and foremost to do research and to insert in academia. But obviously, and so yeah, maybe it can be a good way to answer another questions that was asked in the chat. But regarding the funding, this is, for example, possible like for certain topics that are a bit more applied, a bit more managerial. It is possible sometimes to have funding that are partly subsidized by a firm, by a company. So obviously it's also a good way. Sometimes the company might be maybe interested to hire you at the end of the PhD. But yeah, it's a bit kind of specific cases and specific examples. So it is possible. The topic of the PhD need to be adapted maybe, and managerial also.
Absolutely. And does the institute facilitate that such external fundings for the candidate?
Yes, at TSM, as a public university, yes, we encourage and we help the candidates to find this kind of funding. As I mentioned in the chat, it is called contrat chiffre. So it is actually something that it is a French type of initiative where the companies are actually encouraged offer this kind of contract because they get a tax advantage. I mean, not to get into the specifics, but it is actually a good deal for the companies to fund part of the PhD studies of their employees / students.
Thank you, Dr. Laporte. My next question is to Dr. Bruno. Dr. Bruno, how encouraging do you find profiles which are having a technical background, you know, where students have done their bachelor's in from a technical field, and they are branching out to management, and now they want to pursue their PhD. So, how, to what degree the approach is multidisciplinary?
I think it's possible, but the best way maybe is to apply first to the first year of MSc in management in order to acquire the minimum background. It should be a plus if you have some technical background from physics or math, because research in management maybe is also quantitative. But the best way maybe is to apply to the one MSc program in management first in order to acquire the research methodology in economics and management.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bruno.
Could you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Ayerbe.
Yeah, sorry, now I can speak with you, sorry. So I just want to add a few words regarding this possibility. We are very open in our MT program to this multidisciplinary approach. So we really welcome scholars or students with from all the disciplines, because we really think that this M2 level will prepare them then to pursue in the PhD with this management and innovation objective that is the aim of our program. But we are really open to this profiles as well. Sorry, now I would just have to add few words since my presentation was so bad. So thank you for hearing me now.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for the technical glitch that you experienced.
Now I can be with you.
Anyways, you're back. So thank you so much, Dr. Ayerbe. It's just would like to conclude this session. Maybe we can start with Dr. Laporte. Dr. Laporte, would you like to have some closing remarks for this session?
I think I said like most of it in my presentation. However, yeah, I encourage you. Maybe I think it's a good time. It's a great, thank you for organizing this session. First, I think it's for us in France, it's a great opportunity to speak about our programs. So I really enjoyed doing this. I think a good time now for you, like prospective students, is to look maybe at our websites and look at all the information. And of course, feel free to contact us to get more information. You have all the contacts on our website, and I'm sure I'm talking about the other programs that are presented here. I think yeah, finding a good place in to live in France and really think about the project. If you really like, it's a long adventure. Like a PhD, it's minimum 5 years. So yeah, you need to be very motivated, obviously, but I think that our the alumni was like said it very well before me. But yeah, you need to be very motivated to really be very. It's the good time to and maybe like to answer some questions that I saw. I think the timing is perfect. The timing of this webinar is perfect. Most of the schools are going to open their first round of applications very soon. And most of the school will have a second round of applications. So I think this is really the good time to gather all the information that is necessary to apply very soon at the end of the fall. So yeah, nothing else to add. Thanks again for your invitation for this fair.
Thank you so much for giving us your time, Dr. Laporte. And thank you so much for those encouraging words. I'm sure the aspiring students would take a lot back home. Moving to Dr. Bruno. Dr. Bruno, would you like to give us some closing remarks?
So I would like also to thank you for this, to give us the opportunity to present PhD research in the University Côte d'Azur. I'm sorry for the technical problem, but as I write in the chat, I am available with my colleague Cécile to answer your question by email if you need some more information. And we are pleased to be there today, and I hope that the information was good for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bruno. Dr. Ayerbe, would you like to add something?
Oh, sorry, I just have to apologize, but really you have my address, so please do not hesitate to contact me, and for sure we will give you some information. We have several Indian students now in our M2 program this year, and we have former students. We are now in a PhD program. So you can have both information from these Indian students from the M2 and from the PhD. And they are really a nice person, and I'm sure that they will answer to your questions. So I can put you in contact. Do not hesitate to come to me, and I will give you their email address as well. So thank you very much, and sorry again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ayerbe. Ms. Delhay, would you like to give us some closing remarks?
Well, also, thank you really for organizing this event. And I can see that we had almost 100 people connecting for the whole event. So that's really great. And I hope that we all gave some very good information on the PhD programs. And I left my email and I left the website on the chat, and don't hesitate to get back to me for any question, or maybe Debtanu would also be available to ask your questions, to answer your questions, sorry.
Of course. Thank you so much, Ms. Delhay. Mr. Lahiri, would you like to give some concluding words?
Yeah, as Britta just mentioned, I'll be available on my email ID or LinkedIn or wherever. If you have specific queries that you would like to direct to me, I can answer them. And one question that kept on appearing in the chat, I think, which needs to be addressed, is about the age factor. I think someone might have already addressed that. So I'd just like to reiterate that there's no age criteria. There's no penalty for applying older, but there's no reward either. So if you are thinking about getting a job experience and then applying to PhD, in my opinion, that doesn't make much sense, because in PhD, what we do is very academic oriented, where your job experience, in my opinion, doesn't add much value. So, if it's your choice, you can apply as whenever you like. But if you have made up your mind to enter an academic, to pursue an academic career, I think you should apply as soon as possible and not wait for work experience. That's all. I mean, and if you have other queries, you can get back to me on my email.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Lahiri, for those useful insights. And we would now like to conclude the session. But before that, Ms. Amruta Datta, would you like to add some final words to this session?
I'd like to thank all the panelists for being here, and thank you for organizing this, and thanks to the entire team.
Thank you, Amruta. Just to conclude that, our panelists have shared their contacts in the chat box. Please do not hesitate to get back to them with any kind of questions or any kind of queries. They are there to help you out. And thank you so much for giving us your time, all the panelists. Thank you so much for sharing your views today. I wish you all a lovely day ahead. Thank you for your time.